welcome to my weekly reading vlog. I'm sorry, I realise I look a little bit kind of like I've just come out of the shower. It's a Monday morning just before I start work. I am working from home today, but I thought we would choose our next book together. I've got my TBR jar. I haven't got my TBR jar, hang on. I've got my TBR jar, so I thought we would have a little look at what is the next in line. People seem to like these videos, but I don't know why, because I don't do an awful lot during the week because I work full time. I don't really have anything planned that's exciting at the weekend other than my husband's doing work to do with the house. That's why I don't like really doing vlogs sometimes, because I feel like I don't do anything exciting. You see all these really nice vlogs and people do stuff really exciting. I suppose I just read. Maybe that's why you're here for it. I don't know, but I don't do anything else. Like, I don't do anything aesthetic. Give it a good shake. Okay, what have we got? If you've seen me do this before, I don't know what half of these are. Like, I forget. Okay, here we go. Here we go. What is it? I hope it's something I actually kind of want to read. I don't know what I'm in the mood for. I'm in the mood for fiction, I think. The Daughter of Auschwitz by Tova Friedman. So this will have to be my Kindle because I don't think I've got the physical copy. Oh. I don't know if I'm in the mood for that. I wonder how many pages this is going to be. I'm hoping it's not too long. I don't know if I'm really in the mood to read this, but I've been surprised, you know, so let's see how I get on. Like I said, working from home today, so I'll try and fit it round when I've got breaks, and there might not be much in terms of updates today, but we shall see. I just realised I do actually have the physical copy to this. That's a sign that I have way too many books. I can't remember what I have and what I don't have, but it's fine. I would have been really pissed off with myself if I bought it on Kindle and I was like, fuck's sake, I've got the physical copy. I think I bought this in Wales when I went to Wales. It was an indie bookshop, so I actually did buy this brand new. So this is by Tova Friedman and Malcolm Brabant. So Tova, this is who it's based on, her life, her memoir, sorry, of when she was in Auschwitz, and I believe Malcolm Brabant is her friend. I just realised as well, I'm not, again, this is me being amazingly professional as always. I always just say this just in case. These will contain spoilers, so I will leave a list of all the books I mentioned in the description below, so please go check that out. But these are all likely to contain, well, they probably will all contain spoilers, let's be honest. And of course, as always, please do check your triggers when picking up a book for the first time. So there we go. I just thought I'd mention that because obviously this is a very sensitive subject matter. I've just reached up to chapter 2, so I've read the prologue and I've read chapter 1. I don't know how I'm going to talk to you about this because I usually, if you know me by now, I just start crying. When it comes to Auschwitz, I will just start crying and weeping. And I already felt myself getting very teary and lump in my throat while I was reading this. So I'm like, how the hell am I going to talk about this book? But so I'm going to go give it a go. I've got a theory that I think in a past life I was in Auschwitz or something, because really, if you even mention Auschwitz, sometimes I just start crying. It's really weird. I don't have that with anything else, but like if you start talking about stuff that happened in Auschwitz or any of these concentration camps, I just start crying. I don't know, there's something about it, man. It just really like gets to me, like in here, and I'm like, oh. Also, it probably doesn't help that I'm PMSing this week. If you know, you know, you know. This book, I'm loving it so far. It's such an important read. Oh my gosh, like these books, I can't like say how important it is, especially nowadays. So I think this book was released, hang on, when was it released? 2022, so yeah, just after COVID. And I like the fact that the author, because I think the author is about 83 now, so when the events of this happened, when World War II happened and she and her mum were sent to Auschwitz, but she was about 6 years old, she mentions how like she can see already how we are repeating history, and she's so annoyed and she's so angry, rightfully so, that we're kind of going down that lane. I've been saying this in my other videos, like it's a repeat of history and she doesn't want that, so this is why she tells her story, and she tries to educate as many people as she can about why we cannot go back to anything like this. But I will tell you briefly what this is about, just in case you're not sure, so I will read the back of it. Tova was 5, oh so she was 5, sorry, when she and her parents were sent to a Nazi labour camp, and almost 6 when she and her mother were forced into a packed cattle truck and sent to Auschwitz too. In her 6 months there, Tova witnessed atrocities that she could never forget and escaped death numerous times. Largely thanks to her brave mother, who taught Tova so much about survival, she is one of a handful of Jews who have entered a gas chamber and lived to tell the tale. What I really liked about this as well so far is that her mum, like bearing in mind she's what, 5 or 6 in this book, her mum from the off is like telling her the truth about everything. She's not like, you know, like with kids you normally like maybe hide stuff or you like, you know, do whatever. She's like, you will die, you need to listen to me, this is, and like it's amazing how much resilience this kid has. And like she said she's never cried really much because she was taught not to, and just I'm blown away by this girl or this woman already. The fact that her mum has taught her this, and like the fact that I feel like she couldn't really be a child, if you know what I mean. Guys, I'm not gonna be able to deal with this, am I? She said something that I found really, I don't know what the word is, I guess inspiring. I don't want to keep saying that, it sounds a bit cheesy. Basically said that the reason when her mum basically tells her everything, all the gritty details are like, you will die. Like, she literally says to her father, you'll die, you have to stay with me, or you have to listen to me, I don't care what it is, you will die. Like, she knows, like, she knows what the Germans are like, the SS and stuff, that they will kill her. And she knows that they murder, she knows that they torture, she knows that they abuse. She said, like, she's never really played with toys, she's had to grow up almost as soon as she like could speak. She said something like, knowledge is power. Like, this is why I'm not going to hide anything from you, even though you're very young. The more you know, the more you understand, the more you can save yourself and others. Man, this book, man, I'm loving it, honestly. I don't know if that's a weird thing to say about these kind of books. I'm loving it, but I am. Honestly, you have to read something like this in your lifetime, at least one. I'm not the most eloquent person, I'm not the most articulate person. Anyone who watches this channel will know this by now, but I cannot stress to you how much like these books are just like so important, and like this can never happen again, like ever. And she said at the beginning as well in the prologue that she was saddened and sickened to hear that a lot of Europeans and Americans either don't really know about the Holocaust, don't really believe in it because conspiracy, and like that's crazy to me. I mean, it wasn't a large percentage admittedly, but it was still a fairly big percentage. I think it was something like 17%, which is still quite big. Like 17% is still quite, it's not huge admittedly, but I mean, yeah, that's awful, to be honest. We need to keep going with this, we need to keep talking about it. I'm gonna get off my podium now. I haven't actually cried yet, but I have been very teary, which is that the same thing? I don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna see how much further I can get with this. It's Tuesday morning. I'm working from home today. I'm about to start work. Before I did, I've just got halfway through this book. I also read some last night. If I told you the stuff that I've read in here, I can't even talk about it. It's so horrific. She's 6 years old. She's 6 years old. And she's a Jewish girl. And her mindset is so warped because this is all she's ever known, right? They're walking them to the crematorium to be gassed, right? Sorry, that's my that's my washing machine. If you can hear that noise in the background, it tells me that it's done. She can see her mum in the other camp and they're all like thin and starving, and she's calling to her. She's like, Tova. And she's like, Mum, I'm off to the crematorium. She doesn't quite understand. And then like all the women are like crying, they're shouting, they're screaming, and she doesn't understand. She's like, well, Jewish children die. That's what happens to us. This is just horrific. I don't have no words because it's so horrific. The amount of psychological toll this would take. She's fucking 6 years old. Like, this is insane. No child should ever feel that way. Imagine having that thought as a 6-year-old. Well, that's what happened. Like, she was literally like confused because she's like, well, that's what happens to us eventually. That's their beliefs because that's all they've ever known. That's not right. That's not right. Anyway. Oh, Jesus, okay. This book, I don't know if I can deal with it. As in, like, I don't know if this is the best time for me to read this. I thought I could be stronger, but I feel silly coming on here just crying my eyes out because it's like, my tears are nothing to this poor woman's tears, do you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like maybe that's offensive, and I don't mean to be it that way. I think it's hitting different. These books always kind of upset me, but this is different because, like, she's 6. I'm gonna do some washing, I'm gonna work from home. After work, I'm gonna pop to Aldi. Sorry, my life's really boring, but I'll take you with me. I just need to get a few bits and bobs and all the rest of it, and I will keep you updated once I've finished, I promise. I don't think I will update you unless there is anything really of significance, but that was really just something to me. When I read that, I was like, this is insane. Hopefully I won't be crying when I speak to you in the next one. It's break time and I have managed to finish this book. I feel like I can talk about it now. I think I was just very emotional. I do apologise. This will not come in as a shock, but 5 stars. Couldn't be anything less than 5 stars. Absolutely loved this. It's so moving. Did like the bit at the end as well when she told the reader about her current life, like how she ended up in the US, kind of was back and forth in the US and Israel. I feel like I've gone on this journey with her. I feel like I've gone on this emotional roller coaster with her a little bit. She's gone on to have, like, I think she had 4 children, 2 boys, 2 girls, and she's got 8 grandchildren. And I found out as well she's also got a TikTok. I think the author's trying to get out to everybody, and let's be honest, the way to do that nowadays is through social media, isn't it? It's through TikTok, it's through all those social media accounts. It's taken her a while to be able to talk about what happened to her, which I find quite interesting, and she does talk about that in the book, because for a long time after the war, a lot of people felt that they just either couldn't talk about it because it was too traumatizing, they felt that they weren't allowed to talk about it, or a combination of both. And her thing was very much that she wasn't really allowed to talk about it. I guess it's still so raw and fresh that people just want to move on, don't they? Most people just want to, and I don't know, it's complicated. Obviously I wasn't around this time, so I can't really say or have a comment on it. I've not experienced anything like this, so it's hard for me to comment, but I can sort of see it almost from both sides. She may not remember all the details, I don't know if I mentioned this, but she remembers like the smells and the sights and the sounds almost in vivid detail, and she can recall that as if it happened yesterday. And she says that, and like she may not remember the details and like the exact things that were said, but she always remembers that. I'm going to be completely honest with you here. I don't know a lot about the Jewish religion. I don't know anything really about Judaism. I'm going to be honest, I don't. I want to learn more about it because I feel like it's important, especially in terms of, you know, the Holocaust and all, you know, all these things that went on. In the UK, at least when I was at school, it was never really taught. Yeah, I think it's because in the UK we don't have a huge Jewish community. That's not to say that don't exist. Obviously they do in the UK, and there are quite a few, but it's just not as big. And I feel like in America, obviously I know why, because of the war and everything, but in America it seems like such a big thing. And I'll be honest, I don't know, like when she was going on about half the stuff she was going on about like the Jewish holidays they celebrate, I'm like, how have I never heard of that? I think it's only Hanukkah and maybe the Sabbath, and I know they celebrate Fridays. That's all I know. Like, I'll be honest, there's not a big community here in the UK. A lot of it is influenced by obviously what happened in the war, I guess, is why we don't have a big Jewish community here in the UK. If we do, then maybe I'm just completely ignorant to it, and fair enough, but like I don't think we did. I don't know, like it could be me, probably is. Let's choose my next book. What am I in the mood for? A fictiony type book. I'm not really sure what specifically, but this is a thriller. It's called A Stranger in the House by Shari Lapena. If you haven't watched my channel before, then I do like Shari Lapena. She's one of my favourites. I don't know if I've got the physical copy. I have a few Shari Lapena lying around. I just thought I had it then. No. Am I in the mood for a thriller? Not really. I'll update you when I have something to say about it. I am reporting to you from my car at the car park at work. I forgot to mention, by the way, it's the 26th of February and it's Thursday as I'm recording this. And I don't know if I said the date for Monday, but yeah. Anyway, we're in February. I'm so professional, aren't I? Anyway, I thought I'd quickly update you because I'm sorry if I'm looking around a lot. It's because obviously I don't want people to see me talking to myself. I reached last night just coming up to halfway through. I think I'm about 45% through The Stranger in My Home, I think it's called, or In My House by Shari Lapena. I will put it here somewhere just in case, because you know what I'm like, I forget. It's just okay. I've read about 2 or 3 Shari Lapena books before, and I say like she's one of my favourite authors. I don't know if I still think that. Like, she's good. I still want to read her stuff, but I think there was one book that I gave a 5-star, and then I read her backlist or read the other books, and I'm like, they're just not as good. Like, they're fine, they're usually 3 or 4 stars. It might also have something to do with the fact that I'm not really in the mood for a thriller at the moment, but it's really fast-paced. That's what I love about her books. They're like really easy to read, they're really fast-paced, they're really kind of like, there's lots of breaks in between, so you don't feel overwhelmed. But I haven't told you what this is about. This is about a couple who are quite wealthy, quite well off, and the woman doesn't work. She's a housewife. That's what she calls herself. And the guy, I think, works in accounts or something. I don't know, really. Don't really care. Basically, they're wealthy. They live in a really nice neighbourhood. And one day she gets into a massive car accident, and she was caught like speeding and basically driving erratically, and she ended up in a part of a neighbourhood that's a bit rough and she has no really business being in. Like, she doesn't know anyone there. So she wakes up in the hospital not remembering a damn thing. She doesn't remember a thing, and no one really believes her. They're like, sure you don't. And she's like, no, I don't. And the doctor's like, yeah, this can happen. Like, she's obviously got some short-term amnesia because she had a really bad concussion. She went into a pole. She went to a freaking utility pole, right, with her car. The husband doesn't know, and that's kind of where it goes from there. And now she's finding out some stuff, and she's like kind of slowly her memory's coming back. It's kind of assumed that she is not who she says she is. There's a bit of a identity crisis, a false identity of such, and I'm kind of getting into that now. There's a neighbour as well that lives across the road, and she's very nosy. She's quite interfering, I think, but she's meant to be friends, like best friends with this Karen. That's the FMC, Karen, right? But she also had this affair with the husband. Yeah, it's all a bit weird. I don't know what to make of it, so I'm not sure. There's a huge miscommunication trope, which I'm not a fan of. Well, it's not even miscommunicating, they're like literally not really communicating.
So I'm not a fan of that, I have to be honest. I'm not a fan of that in books anyway, movies, whatever. I mean, they're meant to be like a happily married couple, but I don't know if I'm buying that, like before this accident. I don't know if I'm buying that. The author makes a thing of being like, having the character say like, oh, we were so happy before this happened. Were you? And maybe that's the point. Maybe we'll find out, like, maybe he was abusive to her. I don't get those vibes, but it was hinted at that in the book, and then he quickly dismissed that, and she did as well. So I'm just going to quickly brush my hair because I just realised how freaking tangled it looked. This is a fine hair problems. Your hair gets so easily tangled. I'm thinking a 3-star at the moment. I don't hate it, it's just kind of meh. So obviously today I'm about to start work, and as you can see, I'm not happy about that. And then plan is tonight, try and read a little bit more, hoping to finish it tonight. It says on my Kindle I've got about 2 hours left, which I don't know about that, we'll see. I've been listening to a podcast because I've really been needing to listen to something while I'm working, and I found a podcast called, I can't remember what it's called, something Quick Book Reads. I'll link it all down below. I can't remember exactly what it's called now. I found it because one of the new booktubers I follow on here, subscribe to, whatever you want to call it, is called What Victoria Reads. I think that's her name. I think I said that right. Again, link it all down below. And she was a guest on there, so I thought, okay, I'll listen to it. It was a really good podcast, by the way. If she's listening, which I doubt it, but if she is, then well done. You did really well, by the way, in that episode. And she was just talking about what it's like to be a booktuber, you know, all this stuff, which I really liked. I thought she did a really great job. I'm quite fussy with my podcast. I'm quite fussy in what I listen to. I just really highly recommend it because she interviews a lot of authors, and as you may or may not know, I really like Sarah Vaughan, the author, and she interviewed her, and it was really interesting. The only thing I will say is I started putting more books on my TBR now. She interviews authors, or she talks about some books, and I'm like, oh, I want to read that now. That sounds really good. So yeah, I've put 2 or 3 more books on my TBR. I can't help it. I'm like, this sounds really good. I want to read this. I thought I'd recommend that to you guys because it is really good. But it's just interesting. It's kind of different in that what she talks about. It's not like the usual things you would expect, like just reviews. It is reviews, but it's also like a mix of it. There's like lots of discussions. I just thought I'd recommend that. That's it. That's all I have for you guys at the moment. I haven't really got a lot else to say. I will update you when I have something to update you about. Friday, the 27th of February. I'm about to start working a little bit, but I thought I'd talk to you because I'm working from home. I don't know if I mentioned that. I have finished this book. What was it called? Hang on, I got it on my Kindle. Stranger in the House by Shari Lapena. As you can tell, it's Friday, so I'm feeling a bit more upbeat. What do I think of it? I've just finished it. I'm not impressed. I gave it 2 stars. It wasn't awful, but it wasn't great. I gave you a brief synopsis in my previous clips, and it didn't really get much better. I got to the ending. I was like, I don't really understand it. I was like, have I missed something? Because is Bridget pregnant? Is that the thing? And she's pregnant with Tom's kid, right? I didn't get that. And everyone's like, oh my god, that ending was so like rubbish. And I'm like, I don't get what the ending was. I must have missed something. I just didn't care for the characters. They were mostly, if not completely, unlikable for the most part. I think what it was, I was talking to my husband about this last night. I think I'm kind of done with thrillers. And I'm done with thrillers that mostly focus on domestic life, like a married couple with some children, or like just domestic thrillers. I just don't care for them anymore. I read so many books on domestic thrillers, on this kind of trope of miscommunication. I'm just bored of it. I'm just honestly bored of it. It's always based on like a well-off couple or well-off family, and it's just like someone's cheating on someone. It's just boring. I'm just bored of it. And honestly, like white suburban families having a bit of marital problems or having affairs, it's just boring. Now obviously there is a death involved in this, there is murder, but it's like, again, it's all just tied up in this rubbish that I don't really care about. Yeah, it was all a bit weird. There was a lot more police procedure in this, police investigation, which again, I'm not a massive fan of. I don't like detective stuff generally, so yeah, I don't know. I just didn't like it. I really didn't. I do think if you love mystery thrillers and you love domestic thrillers and you're not too bothered about the writing, and you're not too bothered about being close to the characters, you will like this. This is what I said, like, this is why I give it 2 stars, because to me that's like, it's really not my cup of tea, but if you like it, you like it. So Shari, I'm disappointed. I can't remember which book I read, and I gave her quite a high rating. I honestly can't remember. To be honest, it's a bit silly. I just didn't care. And when you've lost me like that, you've lost me. I just feel like it could have really benefited from maybe having more character development. Not much, because I know in thrillers that's not really a big thing, but like just a little bit. Just diversify a little bit, because it's just, I'm bored, man. White suburban families, white suburban couples, suburbia, I'm just bored. What I hated more than in this one, and again, this is a very common trope, is that I didn't like the whole secrets thing, and I don't like secrets between couples. Unless it's absolutely life or death necessary, then fine. But I don't like that. I don't like miscommunication in couples. I don't like it generally. I don't like it in real life, and I don't like it in this. Like I said earlier, it wasn't even miscommunication. They were just not even communicating. So I don't think I would give it a 1 star. I wasn't awful, oh my god, because there were some mildly interesting bits, like, okay, like there was a bit of back and forth at one point in the investigation. I thought, okay, it's annoying because the detectives have to explain it to the reader, and it's like, yeah, we get it, we know what's happening. This ain't it. Anyway, I'm going to choose my next book. I'm going to try and end it on Sunday. I know I said Monday, but we'll see. It'll either be Sunday or Monday. To be honest, it depends when I finish the book. If I finish it Sunday, then I'll do it Sunday. I don't know. I know what I'm telling you. Who cares? You don't care. But I am starting to think, like I said in my video, thrillers are just, yeah, I've been very fussy with my thrillers lately, and I don't know if I'd say it's my favourite genre so much anymore. But then, like I said, the ones I have read, like I read a really recent one by Paula Hawkins, Slow Fire Burning, I think it's called. Really liked that. Really liked that. I gave it 5 stars. I freaking loved that. And that was a thriller. And I was like, this is why I love thriller. I don't want white suburban families anymore with their stupid marital problems. But I am interested. If you've read this book, what do you think? And have I got that right about the ending? Have I got that right? I'm starting to think maybe I haven't. Maybe I didn't understand it. I might go back and just check that. So maybe there's a sequel there. I don't know. I don't care for that sequel. But anyway, I'm rabbiting on. Let's do this, because you're probably like, shut up. Do my good mix. Oh, okay. The Navajo Nightmare by David Sodergren. I'm really getting through David Sodergren lately. Interesting. So this will be a Kindle read as well, because I don't have the physical copy. Yeah, I'm excited. I do like David Sodergren. Although recently, again, he hasn't been doing it for me really, but I do enjoy his books. I always have a good time. Like it's not always 4 or 5 star. Sometimes it's been a 3, but it's always good, if that makes sense. Like I never go, well, that was rubbish. I don't think I've given any a 2 star. I say that and I'm probably like talking out my ass. Anyway, I'm looking forward to that. The Navajo Nightmare. I think it's more of one of his earlier works. If you're not sure what the hell I'm on about, he's a British horror author. Really good. I think he's self-published. Highly recommend. And in case you don't know, that was one of my favourite books from last year. So in 2025, my favourite book of that year was The Heart by David Sodergren. Highly recommend you read that. Trust me, like it is horror, but it's actually not that bad. It's not that gory. If you don't do horror, I love that book, man. His books aren't very long, so actually I should be able to update you fairly quickly with that, and I probably will have another book left. I'm doing so well in February, man. I'm flying through these books. Like, love it. Let's keep it going. I'm on my break, and I thought I'd update you because I'm coming up to about 40%, so that's 40, not 14. The Navajo Nightmare. And I made a bit of a mistake. It is by David Sodergren, but it's co-wrote with Steve Stred. I've not heard of that author before. I think he's a fellow horror author from the sounds of it. I think this book is actually a novella, I want to say, because I didn't realise this, but it's less than about 200 pages. I think it's just shy of about 175 pages. So yeah, fairly short, so I definitely will finish this either today or tomorrow. What do I think of it so far and what's it about? It's set in... Here we go. I can't do history. I want to say it's set in the 1800s. It's set in like sort of that era, the cowboy era. So, you know, cowboy romance girlies? This could be for you, because look at that kind of lovely colour. Obviously, cover. Obviously, I haven't got it in colour because it's on my Kindle, but maybe I'll put it here somewhere. But the cover's amazing. It's called Western horror. Never read that subgenre before. It's about a guy who's an outlaw, kind of cowboy killer. He's used to killing people. His name is Charles Anderson, and he goes around killing. That's my shit American accent. He's a bit of an outlaw, a bit of a cold-hearted guy, but he has a family life now. He got himself a woman, and she's called Mary, and they have a really cute relationship actually, and they've got a son called Jack. Now, he's not 100% sure if this son's his biologically, but either way, he's like, I don't care. And he looks after this son, so it could be even his stepson, but either way, it's really beautiful. Well, because of his kind of wayward ways, so to say, he finds one day that he goes away for business trying to get a bank loan. Not quite sure why actually. I think it's to do up the house or something, because they're in the middle of renovating their home. Someone comes along and Mary and the son as revenge because he someone of his guys, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like a gang thing, and yeah, an eye for an eye, so to say. And these 5 men brutally torture and kill the wife and son, and he comes back, sees that, and he's like, I'm going to enact revenge on you. So he basically goes and tracks them down eventually. He ends up doing that, and he tries to kill them, but he's kind of outnumbered, which I did think, like, you're kind of gonna die anyway, because that was a kind of stupid thing. He's meant to be like a really good killer, and I get that, but there's 5 guys and there's one of you, do you know what I mean? And they have guns and everything, and he's got a gun, he's armed, but he kind of gets, yeah, he thought there was 4 of them, there's actually 5 of them, so he gets outnumbered. But I was thinking, even with 4 guys, you'd probably be outnumbered. Someone who's not a certified killer, I'm like, surely you would have done that a bit better. They basically end up cutting off his hands, because there's a lot of like cutting off body parts for some reason. Like, they're all cutting off body parts, and they cut off both his hands, so obviously he's not going to be a good killer anymore. And he's obviously, as you imagine, in a lot of pain, and he stumbles into a church where he meets the devil. But he's made a deal with the devil, so to say, and so he's basically give him his hands back, and now he's going to kill them. The character of Charles is very morally grey. He reminds me, I put in my notes, because he literally reminds me of, if you've ever seen The Last of Us, he reminds me of Joel. If Joel was in a Western, he would be the Charles Anderson. Kind of gunning for Charles, like, yeah, go on Charles, like, do it. Kill them. I don't know what this is about me. It is kind of gory and kind of crude, but at the same time I think it has like a lot of emotions in it. And what I like about it is he's someone that's like, oh, I'm emotionless, I'm a killer, and that's that, and I'm just a killer. And like, okay, Charles, but he is like down for Mary, if you know what I mean. Like, he is head over heels for this Mary, and obviously, you know, they killed her quite brutally, and the son, he's like, fuck that, like, they are getting their 2 cents for that, do you know what I mean? Like, an eye for an eye is very much that. It's all about revenge, but it isn't overdone, you know. As you may or may not know, I'm not massively into supernatural horror, I'm not massively into supernatural stuff. You tend to shy away from it a little bit, but this is good so far. What I have found in some of David Sodergren's book is he tends to just be a bit outlandish sometimes, and although it is kind of entertaining, I've got to admit I still have fun. I'm like, okay, that's a bit silly, but I haven't felt that way so far. It actually feels like something that could happen. It feels realistic. Even the devil wasn't like overdone. By the way, I'm really sorry if you can hear like thumping on the frickin' ceiling. We have birds that like to thump on the ceiling. I think they're like pecking at the algae or something. I don't know what they're frickin' doing, but it's loud. And so if you can hear random bumps, that's what it is. It's the birds. So that is all I have to say for now. It's Saturday afternoon, and I thought I would come and update you because I have now finished the Navajo Nightmare. I ended up giving it a 3-star, and I know I was like ranting and raving about it, saying how amazing it was. It was still a good book. I think the second half, it was written by Stred, and I could tell because it just wasn't as good, but I don't know if that's necessarily his fault. I didn't mind his writing. I had no problem with that necessarily. I think what it was, the plot just took a different turn. It was almost like a completely different book, because what happens to this guy Charles A. Anderson is that he ends up becoming like a monster. He becomes the Navajo Nightmare, so that is kind of where it goes. And because he makes this deal with the devil, he's got to like get 5 bodies for the devil. I don't know if it's like every month or something, I'm not quite sure. And so these people are tracking him down because he's basically destroyed the village, Packer's Mill, that's what it's called. He's destroyed his village, he's killed everyone in the village, town, whatever you want to call it. So there's these 5 people, including a woman, who go to sort of exact revenge on him. One person from this group was called Cutting Teeth, and he was a shapeshifter. I think he was Native American, I got that impression because they said he was non-white and that he grew up with a tribe. I don't know, like, that's just the impression I got. I could be completely wrong. The second half of the story did lose me a little bit. I found myself not really caring as much. I think I preferred it more when it was in the first half and it was just him becoming this monster and you could slowly build it. But just as it was building, it stopped. And then we went to this group and I thought, I don't really care about them as much. It was interesting because at the end of the book, the author's note, David Sodergren did say that he would have liked, because he doesn't normally do short stories, he doesn't normally like to do those, and he would have really liked to keep going with it. And I kind of felt like, yeah, no offense to that other author, but he kind of killed killed it a little bit. I don't know if that was like his idea. I don't know. I don't know how they kind of co-wrote that. It sounded like they really had two different ideas about this and how they were going to go, like the angles they were going. And I prefer David Sodergren's angle than this guy, unless they did both decide that. I don't know. It was just fine. It wasn't the best one. It wasn't awful. I still had a fun time, especially the first half. I really did like the first half, because otherwise I think if it carried on kind of how it was going, it would have easily been a 4 or 5 star. But I think because of the way it went, ultimately, I was just a bit bored. So anyway, I'm going to choose my next book. So we're going to give it a good shake. Hopefully it's not anything too long. I don't think I have like massively long books on my TBR. And we have Come As You Are by Emily Nagoski. I think this is a self-help non-fiction book. I think it's about the female orgasm. Yeah, something a bit different, eh? I really have different genres, don't I, when I do this? But yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Come As You Are sounds like that. I do remember it because it has quite a unique title, you know, based on the Nirvana song. So I shall update you, as always, when there is something to update you about. Today is the 2nd of March, it's a Monday, so I'm coming in to close up the vlog and tell you that yesterday, although I didn't update you, I did actually finish a book. I finished Come As You Are by Emily Nagoski. I hope I said that right. About sex, orgasm, but specifically more about the female orgasm and female sexual relationships, and specifically cisgendered women and specifically heterosexual relationships. There is a thing at the front where the authors obviously revised it and said like this is mainly for cisgendered women because there's not enough research basically at the moment to include trans people in this. But that's the author's note at the beginning. She's had to kind of go back and say that. So just to make you aware. I went into this book kind of thinking that it was going to be like the book I read called Eve by Kat Bohannon. I think I said that right. I'll put it up here. But that one I gave 5 stars to because it was about women and it was about how we've sort of come to be and how we evolved over time. I do like a good non-fiction book, but I'm quite fussy with them. And this was just fine. I gave it 3 stars, but it's more of a low 3 star if I'm being completely honest. I was expecting it to be more like Eve. And Eve, there was no self-help, but I suppose why would it be, because it's more scientific in that sense. With a non-fiction, I don't like to be dumbed down or talking down to or things over-explained or oversimplified, and the amount of metaphors in this book drove me insane. Like, there were so many metaphors. Girl, we know what you're trying to say, you know, you don't need to literally spell it out to us. And it was a little bit like that. There was a lot of like well-being exercises in there. There was a lot of things like quizzes and stuff you could do and like worksheets and stuff. So I think having the physical copy, if you're into that, would definitely be more beneficial, because I read this on my Kindle. But even if I had the physical copy, I wouldn't have done it. I did none of that. And if I'm being honest, a lot of this book I just skimmed, because saying kind of quite obvious stuff like if you're trying to reach orgasm you need to be relaxed in your life. There was nothing that I really learned that was groundbreaking or new, which I thought I would. Do you feel like if you're someone that's having problems in their sex life, I don't know how to say this without being a bit blunt, then you may get something out of this? But I think for me, I mean, that's that's not me bragging or anything, but genuinely I wasn't really getting anything out of this, is I think what I'm trying to say. I thought it was focusing more on like research done on the female orgasm, and it was there, but it was like very little. It was very sparingly in there. At least I felt that way. It just wasn't the book I was expecting, and which is kind of my fault maybe. Maybe I should have done more research on this. There was a lot of repetitive stuff I thought as well. I gave it 3 stars because I could tell the author was really passionate about this, and there was a lot about like self-confidence and body love. So if you're someone that struggles with that, you may get something more out of this. But again, it was nothing exactly that I haven't heard before, if you know what I mean. It was just fine. 3 stars is just, it's fine. What is my favourite book that I've read so far in this vlog? I think it will come as no surprise, but I think it's definitely The Daughter of Auschwitz. I really loved that. Fantastic book, highly recommend. And my least favourite book was probably... What was my least favourite book? I actually can't remember. What of the books that I read, I can't actually remember. I'm going to say this one, Come As You Are by Emily Nagoski. It's fresh in my mind. The Navajo Nightmare was good, but it was a bit disappointing if I'm being honest. And this was a bit disappointing. It was just very meh. And I'm worried I'm feeling a bit slumpy because as I found myself reading it, I was like, I was having to kind of force myself to read. Which, you know, someone would go, you should DNF. But as you know, I don't DNF yet. This is something that I am getting used to and I will do once I reach my reading goal this year. And then I will start DNFing. And I did think to myself, if I was DNFing, I would have probably DNF this, if I'm being honest. Please let me know if you've read any of these books I've mentioned and what you thought about them. And also let me know, guys, would you prefer weekly reading vlogs or monthly reading vlogs? Please do, if you can, if you want to, leave me a like or a comment because it really does help my channel. It really does. Oh, which way is it? I don't know. Millennial, Gen Z, I don't know, Gen Z, Z, whatever. So thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it from in here. And as always, have a great day, guys. Thank you for watching.